should be good to go. Let me just get this window open more for chat reasons. If we have people talking, there we go.
Okay.
All right. We are all good there. All right. And we will get started in three, two, one, go.
Wow, it feels like forever since the last time I've been here. Last week we kind of combined Monday evening quarterback. I'll explain all that after the introduction, but good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and happy Monday. It is October 21st, 2024. I can't believe we're almost done with the month of October. November is next month, Thanksgiving, and we all know when November rolls around, football season starts to heat up in both aspects, college and the NFL. But this is another episode of Monday Evening Quarterback. My name is Christian Simpson, and for those of you who've been following along with me, as always, I humbly and sincerely thank you for keeping along with me and staying with me on this ride and on this journey. I hope you guys are doing well. And if this is your first time tuning in, um, welcome. If you were referred to me, thank you for taking the referral. Thank you to the person who referred you to me. In case you're wondering, who am I started a brand called the Daily Blitz, which specializes in all things football 24/7, 365. Started this September 6th, 2010. Okay, I think that's enough. I've done enough rambling. I'm not alone today. Ronnie, what's going on?
What, you done it on kissing your own ass?
Hey, hey, hey. I'll deal with you after the show.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'll deal with you after the show. I'm surprised I still have a voice right now. All the yelling I was doing the other day. As many of you know, I am a diehard New York Yankees fan, and my boys are in the Fall Classic for the first time since 2009. So it's been all smiles and dances and spreading the news over here. But other than that, it was another entertaining week of the NFL, and it was another entertaining week of college football. The reason why we didn't do MEQ last week was because we combined both the call of the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets game that Ronnie and I did last Monday night. We combined that call along with just talking about some things. So it was truly Monday evening quarterback and the combination of play by play and color analysis. So we thought we have a little bit of fun with it. But Ronnie, you ready to dive in?
Oh, let's do this.
So week 8, college football. First, let's get the ugly out the way. Oregon handling business against Purdue, 35-0. Dylan Gabriel, you couldn't ask for someone to be more efficient. 21 to 25, 290 yards and 2 touchdowns. And before you dive in, Ronnie, I forgot to say, for everybody listening, if you are liking what you are hearing, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. We are on Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, Blog Talk Radio, and the Nerdport Network. Oregon, they're
Well,
finally starting to look like the team I was high on.
yeah.
You saw what they did against Ohio State, and that kind of made me pay attention to them a little bit more. Just due to the simple fact, every time Ohio State would throw a punch, Oregon would come back with that same punch. They look extremely comfortable right now in the Big Ten. Wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, they definitely do. Even though, let's face it, they don't look like a team that should be number one in the nation.
Mm-hmm. And we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. That's a good half segue. It's about time Dan Lanning got that big win. He had 2 opportunities last year, as I mentioned last week when we called the Bills and Jets game. He had 2 opportunities to beat Washington and couldn't do it. Now he has that signature win as a head coach. under his belt. I'm really anxious to see how far this team can go, because right now, and I don't know if you feel the same way I feel, Ronnie, but right now, it just feels like college football is kind of wide open.
Oh yeah, I can give you arguments for the top 13 teams.
Okay, let's hear it.
So I'm just looking. I can give you the top 24 teams and give you an argument on how each team could possibly beat some of the best. Like top 25, anyone can win except maybe Vandy. Because Vandy hit the top 25 this year. Like let's just start it out. Army and Navy are 23-24. Service Academy teams cause teams fits. If they keep it close, it's anybody's game. SMU, I haven't seen much of it, so I mean their defense is probably the best in the ACC. Missouri, it's a crapshoot with them. They could, if they're hot, they're hot. If they're not showing up.
Yeah, and you remember what I told you? They have been playing sloppy football.
Yeah.
As of late, and we saw them get humbled against Texas A&M a couple of weeks ago.
Next would be Illinois. Again, they're the same thing. If they're hot, they're on. If not, they ain't showing up.
Yeah, but look, they handle business in those ugly uniforms. But don't get me started on those. Okay, who else?
Pittsburgh, best running game, probably some of the best defense.
They look really good. And they're a team that you really don't hear a lot about. I don't know. I feel the ACC it's not what it used to be, because I think everybody was expecting Florida State to be really good, but they really struggled. Only won one game. Right. Clemson, they've bounced back nicely ever since the loss to Georgia, because they're 5-0 in the ACC.
Yeah. The only loss was to Georgia.
Right. And Cade Klubnik has looked to settle in now.
So this is where we get to the first of the SEC rip your hair out where you don't know what they are, and that's Ole Miss.
Yeah, because remember, I was high on Ole Miss coming into this year. I actually had them getting to the SEC championship to play, you guessed it, Georgia.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks Lane Kiffin's gonna take a job elsewhere next year.
Chomp chomp, motherfuckers, chomp chomp.
Florida.
I bet you he's going down to Gainesville.
Yeah, I can see that, because he's one hell of a recruiter, and guys are going to want to go and play for him.
Listen, is it jumping from one SEC school to another? The difference is Ole Miss does not have recruiting money like Florida does.
I'll be honest with you. I'm surprised Alabama didn't consider Lane Kiffin.
Because and I could have seen him with Bill O'Brien too. I'm surprised they never considered O'Brien.
Because I know he coached under Saban.
Oh, so did Bill.
And so did Bill, and so did B.O.B.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not disappointed. I love the Kalen DeBoer hire. Like, I really did. And yeah, I'm just surprised, because I really thought Lane Kiffin would have taken that job.
Yeah, so I'll rattle off these next four because they're all kind of in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
Boise State's got the best running back in college football.
Yes, they do. You could make a case for him being one of the three best players in the sport.
Yep. Kansas State's got the best young quarterback in the game. 15, right. It's Alabama's next. It's Alabama.
Right.
14 is Texas A&M.
And they have a big game upcoming this weekend against LSU.
Yeah. Then we spot on 7-0 Indiana.
And they've been a pleasant surprise.
Yep.
They've been a pleasant surprise.
No, they are. And game day is there this week.
Yeah. Yeah, because Washington's going to be in town.
Yep. Number 12 is Notre Dame, and they still have to fight Army, Navy, and USC. I'm
not sold on Notre Dame.
No, but again, you beat three top. You beat your rival and 2 top 25 teams, and you're gonna get noticed.
Right. Okay.
Next is BYU. I don't see anything for BYU in the Big 12. They do not impress me. They've gotten 7. They're undefeated. They have not impressed me.
Mm-hmm.
Next is Iowa State. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They have not impressed me, but if they showed up and they won, it wouldn't shock me either.
Yeah, and they won a thrilling game on Saturday against UCF, 35-38. 38-35.
Yeah.
It just seemed like it was turnover after turnover every time I was seeing the highlights
Right.
of anything.
Next is Clemson, like we talked about.
I feel they're an under the radar team.
Yeah, at number 9. At number 9, nonetheless. Like,
I feel
they're probably going to be facing Miami in the ACC title game.
Do they play in the regular season?
I do not know. I will find out in 2 seconds. Hold on.
Because if they did, that would be really entertaining.
Here we go. Clemson. They have. No, they do not. Next is Louisville at Vatech. Here's your game at Pitt.
I think game day is going to be there for that.
In Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah.
Then the Citadel in South Carolina.
Okay.
I'll just run through the last ones. LSU and Tennessee.
Yeah, LSU's really surprised me. They're rolling now.
And Tennessee, again, they roll through, make the ACC title game. Who the hell knows?
That's a perfect segue. Let's talk about that.
Well, let me just run the last ones off, and we can get right to Tennessee, because the other ones we really don't have to talk about much. Miami, Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, which is a fraud right there. We'll get to them later. Georgia and Oregon.
Right. I don't know about Penn State.
I see Miami as a fraud. Penn State as a fraud. They have not.
Well, Miami struggles to play defense.
Right. Penn State, though, will have their test when they go up against Ohio State.
Right, and that's in Happy Valley, not this weekend, but next weekend.
Right, and they gotta go to Jump Around and face Wisconsin next week.
Back at the turn. Nah, I think they could beat Wisconsin.
Yeah, but I'm saying, look ahead.
Yeah, but I think they could beat Wisconsin because Wisconsin, they don't have enough offensive firepower. They really don't. They're almost like Michigan in a way.
I want to know how they
struggling to get any type of productivity from the quarterback. Don't really have the downfield passing game. Yeah. Wisconsin, when you think they're taking a couple steps forward, they always seem to take 1,000 steps back, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Tennessee though, we'll go back to where we were. Tennessee going up against Alabama.
Yeah, what a game. Third Saturday in October. I previewed this one on the site. This is actually my third consecutive year previewing it. I remember the first time I previewed these two. It was in 2022. It was in Knoxville. Hendon Hooker was the quarterback for Tennessee, and Bryce Young was still quarterbacking the Alabama Crimson Tide. And that seems so long ago. And it was a shootout. This was the Jalen Hyatt game where I think he scored 5 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. And Tennessee survives Alabama by a field goal, 52-49. Last year they meet in Tuscaloosa, and Alabama gets their revenge. This year, what would it be? Kalen DeBoer finally getting a taste of this rivalry. You know, remember, I used to rave about Tennessee earlier in the year because I love what I was seeing from their offense. Nico Iamaleava is one of the most electric quarterbacks in the country, has a strong arm, can make it happen with his legs. And For a minute, it seemed like Alabama was in control of this game. But the one thing I will say about Tennessee is um, their offense has been figured out, Ronnie. Because ever since the Oklahoma game, they've been held in check under 30 points because they were scoring over 30 and over in their first three games. Then they go to Norman, are held to 25. Then they go to Arkansas, play the Razorbacks, and they're held to under 14. And we both said this last week. They didn't look good against Florida, remember?
Yeah, like the Tennessee though is so I'm looking at ESPN the Power Index. Um, they're 45th on offense in efficiency, and they're
Wow.
first in defense. Which means, so if anyone doesn't know what efficiency means, it means anytime they have the ball, they come away with points. Or defensively, anytime the other team has the ball, they don't come away with points.
Yeah, but it just seems like Nico hasn't been able to adapt to SEC type defenses. But then again, I'll give him a little benefit of the doubt.
No, but the defense is what's keeping Tennessee alive in games.
I couldn't agree anymore. And then just looking at the stats, Dylan Sampson, 26 carries, 139 yards, and two touchdowns. Um, and I remember saying on Saturday coming into the game, outside of Squirrel White and Dylan Sampson, who else can make a play on this Tennessee offense?
Right.
Because you take away those two, who's Nico turning to?
No, yeah, not many. Not a lot.
And I think Dylan Sampson is Tennessee's best player.
Yeah. I wouldn't deny
that. No.
at all.
This was a close game all the way throughout. Tennessee wins 24-17. Looking at the box score for Alabama, Jalen Milroe, he was kept in check once again. Tennessee made sure that he threw the ball from the pocket, 25 of 45, 239 yards passing, one touchdown, two interceptions, and J.M. Miller was your leading rusher at 42 yards. They couldn't get the running game going, and defensively, they're struggling to stop the run. They gave up 220 yards rushing on Saturday. That's un-Alabama like. That's just me. Ryan Williams, the 17-year-old phenom, 8 receptions, 73 yards, and did you see that touchdown that he caught?
Yeah, I did.
Where he pretty much channeled his inner Devontae Adams.
Yeah, pretty much told him to get the bleep off of him.
Yeah, but no, it was the way he cut in and then cut back out to the ball.
What was worse, that or the juke that the BYU player put on the OK State safety?
I gotta go back in.
He snapped his ankles in like 3. Like, it was disgusting.
Yeah, I gotta go back and check that out. But nah, Tennessee gets a big win. Coming into this game, I said to myself, which team could fix their issues? And I lean toward Alabama because I just don't see Alabama playing a string of bad football. But here we are. And Tennessee, I didn't know what to expect from their offense. But I still expect this SEC to be a dogfight. Because Alabama right now is hanging on by a thread.
So, yeah, I mean, this whole SEC, it's every team is kind of just close up. They're close knit.
Yeah. So there's that. Let's go to the other game. In the SEC, game day was there. I slightly previewed this because I called this game, Ronnie.
Yep.
I called this. Georgia and Texas. And I even said I would admit on Monday evening quarterback who I had winning this game because I did want to be completely neutral and I didn't want to pick a winner. Um, I did think Georgia would win this game because Georgia just needed that one game where um they had to get back on track because they have not looked good these last couple of weeks. I think they kind of felt they were disrespected. Their defense wasn't really what it's been the years they were winning championships. And you could even say last year they were really good. Teams haven't been afraid to run on them, run into the teeth of the defense, and you have Alabama to thank for that. Kentucky even did it. Because realistically, we could be talking about Kentucky being one of those teams that beat Alabama. But, I mean, not Alabama, that beat Georgia. But Georgia was able to survive that game and survive it by a point. I said coming into the game, Carson Beck had to outplay Quinn Ewers. Carson Beck didn't look all that great. Let's just call it what it is. A spade a spade. 23 of 41, 175 yards, no touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Quinn Ewers, on the other hand, 25 of 43, 211, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The key for me coming into this game for Georgia was Trevor Etienne because I needed to see Georgia establish their running game. Quintravion Wisener was Texas leading rusher with 52 yards. Listen to this stat line for Texas rushing attempts, Ronnie. As a team, they carried the ball 27 times, right? And they only rushed for 29 yards. That's only 1.1 yards per carry.
Yeah.
But that's credit to Georgia because they shut down the running game.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, this has always been a thing. I don't have the stats, but I believe in the last 10 years, against the spread, Texas has been 3-8, and against the spread going into the next games, and under 50% straight up when it comes to games after Red River.
Dare I say it, and I said it on the telecast with Brian Snow on Saturday. Georgia gave Texas a welcome to the SEC moment. Because you gotta be a big time man to survive and succeed in the SEC. You know what else I like what Georgia did on Saturday in this game?
What's that?
They didn't necessarily turn their back on Carson Beck. Yeah, his stat line was horrible. He threw 3 interceptions, but the running game picked him up. Some receivers made some key throws when it mattered. But it was the defense that got back to the basics, dominating the line of scrimmage, getting after Quinn Ewers, attacking what I was calling the best offensive line in college football. And, yeah, defensively, they just kind of handled the rest.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're not wrong.
Yeah. Texas had so many times and moments to get themselves back into this game, but couldn't do it. Georgia kept their foot on the gas. And you know what's funny? Coming into the game, when I was kind of doing my little breakdown as the color analyst, I said to myself, this Texas team, I said this on a broadcast actually, this Texas team reminds me a lot of the Georgia teams that will win the national championships because they would make you think you had a chance and then they would impose their will. But not last night. Georgia had to show who was boss, son.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Right. You're going to laugh at this. Quinn Ewers had negative 34 yards rushing.
Well, he's not really a
Uh,
rusher.
no, he's not. Arch Manning had -1 yard rushing.
Now that's a surprise.
Yeah, especially with that bootleg run that he
Yeah.
ran earlier in the year.
So I just did the last 7 games. They are 7-3 right after the even with a week off right after Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
but they are 3-7 against the spread. So they come out lazy.
Yeah, and not only that, Steve Sarkisian was outcoached by Kirby Smart. And by the way, this was Kirby's 100th win
Yep,
as the Georgia head coach. So congrats, coach.
and that quick too. Like that's the other thing.
Yeah, he's the best coach in the country.
Yeah.
There's no denying that. But Georgia did win this game. This is a huge win for the Georgia Bulldogs. They win this game 30-15. Texas finally played a complete football team because have they been impressive this year? Yes. Do you play who you play? Yes. Do you beat who you beat? Absolutely. But they beat a Michigan team that's struggling at quarterback. They beat an Oklahoma team who
Is being held up by super glue and duct tape.
you're not wrong.
I mean, what do they have on their defense is somewhat there, but what do they have on offense?
Exactly. I don't know. This stretch run's gonna be really interesting. I want to talk about Miami playing you Louisville. They did win that game by a score of 52-45. So this was a can of alphabet soup with one letter missing. No defense. So it was all offense. Cam Ward continues to ascend into a Heisman candidate. 21-32, 319 yards passing, and 4 touchdowns. No interception. Tyler Shough, or however you say his last name, 31-51, 342 yards passing, and he threw 4 touchdowns as well. So he was able to match. Samuel Brown was the leading receiver for Miami, 125 yards on 3 receptions, and he averaged almost 42 yards per catch. Look, we could say Miami's back, but they don't play defense.
No, Miami is questionable to say the least.
I agree. And don't get me wrong, I love Cam Ward. Cam Ward is one of the 3 best players that I've seen in college football this year.
So efficiency-wise, again, back to that whole thing. They're third in the nation on offense. Behind Army and behind Ohio State. But they're
Right.
62nd in defense, which means coin flip chance 56.1% of the time. So just over 50%, just over half, a team is not going to come away with points.
Right.
I'm sorry. Anything under 60, I'm counting as a coin flip.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to come away with at least 3. But the difference is Miami is coming away with 3s or 7s.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, 92% of the time. But I will go back to what I saw when they played Virginia Tech. It took a bad call by the refs because that was a catch.
And then I'll even do you one better. What about the game in California? They didn't look all that good in that game.
They got bailed out twice by referees.
Yeah, I mean it's impressive to come back on the road, hostile environment, and win that game. But just imagine if they were never down as early as they were.
The only game that I will give them any kind of credit for is the opener. Going into the swamp and beating Florida. I mean, now we figure out how bad Florida is.
To me, that was Miami's most complete game of the year.
Right. Other than that, 4-point win against Virginia Tech, 1-point win against Cal.
Mm-hmm.
52-45 against Louisville.
7-point win.
Yeah, and then blowouts against Florida A&M, Ball State, and South Florida.
Yeah.
And I can't even count. We can't even count next week when they got Florida State, because Miami's probably gonna be fucking 3 touchdown favorites in that game.
Yeah, and we're gonna go over the top 25 because once again, there's been another shakeup.
Even though I kind of did.
Oh, shut up. Yeah, but Miami survived once again, 52-45. How about LSU? I thought Arkansas could upset them.
Yeah, at home. I mean, to go on the road
under the lights. How about LSU?
Yeah, Woo Pig Suey didn't show up.
Yeah, LSU has won 6 in a row since dropping that opener against USC in September.
And does that loss against USC really look that bad because
we see how USC is panned out?
Exactly.
No, not now. It doesn't. It doesn't. LSU's making it an effort to run the football. I'm noticing more, and that's been my gripe with them. Again, I get it's a pass-happy league, and you didn't know what you were going to get from Garrett Nussmeier. He 23 of 34, 233 yards passing, no touchdowns, but he didn't turn the ball over. And Caden Durham was your leading rusher, 101 yards on 21 carries. As a team, LSU carried the ball 36 times for 160 yards.
Yeah.
Arkansas, on the other hand, Taylon Green, 21 of 31, 239 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And Arkansas couldn't get their running game going. Jaquindon Jackson only had 26 yards. Taylor Green had negative 10 of those. Jeez. LSU keeps their playoff hopes alive. Dare I say it? This is a dark horse team that could get to Atlanta for the SEC Conference Championship.
Who does LSU have to go through?
All right, here, let's see.
I bet you they still got a game with Bit. Yep. All right, so they got A&M in A&M next week.
That should be so. Then they play Alabama.
Yeah, and then they got to go to the Swamp,
Florida, which I think they can win.
Guess what? November 23rd. Got to circle that game because if that team stays the way they are, I could smell upset.
And then they end it in Norman against the Oklahoma Sooners. But the Saban Bowl should be fun. But yeah, they have.
Well, that's also LSU's homecoming, so I don't see that's being an issue. They always have that game as LSU. I'm sorry, but I'm going to stay with it. That Vandy game is going to be a sleeper. Diego Pavia, if he shows up like he did, I mean, Vandy would have to take out. If Vandy ran the table, Vandy's going to. This is the terrifying thing. It's never going to happen. But if Vandy runs the table, Vandy's going to Atlanta.
This is what I keep saying. This is one of the more wide open college football seasons that I've seen.
Because Vandy got to go against Texas. So they got Texas next. They got LSU and Tennessee. That's 3 teams that are above them that, other than Missouri, they would have the tiebreaker over.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would have to get help from like A&M to lose a game, and then one other team to lose a game.
Right.
They would need Missouri. They would need Missouri to lose again, pretty much, to get them into a second spot. But I mean, if they run the table, you're talking fucking Commodore. Commodore's going to Atlanta. Like, what? Why am I even talking about that? That's not even something that should be Vanderbilt should not be anywhere near the top of the SEC.
Not at all.
No, Vandy is the freaking they're a team that should be in the the ACC. They're just there.
Exactly.
But Diego Pavia, I mean, I've been spraying this guy. I've been saying this guy's name since New Mexico State. He's something special. He's not going to be an NFL quarterback, but he's something special. He's something special.
Right. No, I definitely agree with that. Anything else you want to?
Oh, what the hell, ladies and gentlemen? Bear with me. For some reason, Christian got kicked.
Hear me?
Yeah, what happened?
Just dropped.
Okay. Yeah, it just
dropped.
We're good.
It's just yeah, but anything else you wanna talk about college football wise?
Well, you said you wanted to run through the top 25 real quick?
Yeah, let's do that. You got it up?
Yep, I got it up. All right,
Hey, yo.
Hey now.
Hey yo.
Listen, darling, the only thing that's got it now, Joanna, get the fuck away.
Okay.
Joanna, we don't need you here. Save it for Wednesday.
Absolutely.
All right, number 25. Actually, all right, so how I normally start. Number 24 got knocked out this week was Michigan. They're the only teams that got knocked out.
And I don't think they're going to be in this top 25 this upcoming week.
No. Well, no, this is the new. Actually, this was released Sunday, so this is the brand new top 25.
Okay.
Michigan's out. Vandy is your 25th seed.
Okay.
Number 24, Navy.
And you've been high on them.
Yep. I'm sorry. When I see a wide receiver running qualifying 100-yard dash speeds in pads, that's something I'm not going to take my eye off of.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. Like, everyone's like, oh, with this, I go, no one can outthrow this kid. He's running 10 flats, 100-meter dashes in pads. That's scary.
Very.
Yeah, and yet we can't have him in the NFL because he's got to go serve our nation. Congrats. Number 23 is Army. We're about to come up on one of the biggest Army-Navy games in our lifetime. If things like this, even if they only have one loss each.
Mm-hmm.
We're about to come up with a game that's not going to be 30-something for the over-under. It's going to be 70. Because both these teams score in the 50s.
So it'll be a shootout.
Yeah, which, that's not Army-Navy.
No, it's not. Normally, it's a struggle. It's a low-scoring game.
And that's in our neck of the woods, too. That's at East Rutherford.
It's going to be at MetLife?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Number 22, SMU.
Okay.
Number 21, Missouri.
They've really fallen.
Even though they won last week.
But they didn't look good against Auburn on Saturday.
At home.
At home.
Number 20, Illinois.
They got a big game coming up this weekend. One that I know I will be previewing. They are playing the Oregon Ducks in Eugene.
Number 19, Pittsburgh.
I think they should be a little bit higher, but I want to hear who is
above them. 18, Ole Miss.
They should definitely be over Ole Miss.
This is where I don't like how the computers are ranking them. And number 17 is Boise State.
They should be a little higher too.
I don't agree with that. Because, yes, their only loss is Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like you're only giving them that credence because of when the loss came, and the Mountain West is a little bit deeper than the American. Because I'm sorry, I look at Boise State's stat lines, and I look at like someone like Army's, and Army is a better team than Boise State. in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like I think they should be a little more even. If not Army higher, Boise should be down. I could see them being more like 19-20.
Okay.
Number 16, K-State.
I think they're the best team in the Big 12. I thought it was going to come down to them and
There's two teams higher than them.
in Utah. But Utah, I think Cam Rising is out for the remainder of the year.
Yep, Cam's out for the remainder of the season, and now it's baby Zach Wilson.
His brother, Isaac.
Yep, Isaac, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Number 15, Alabama.
Yeah, sounds about right. You knew they weren't going to be in the top 10
Yep,
after losing.
Number 14, staying put, Texas A&M.
Okay.
They got a game against LSU, so that's going to change.
Yeah.
Number 13, Indiana.
They've been playing really well. Their coach will have my vote for Coach of the Year.
Yep. Number 12, Notre Dame, and that's a big – and their game against Navy is going to be a big game for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now they're on the cusp to getting not in the playoff.
Right.
Number 11, BYU.
Okay.
Frauds.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't sold on them, and I'm one of them.
Yep. Frauds. Number 10, Iowa State. I don't know it. I'm kind of up in the air. I really think Iowa State K-State's going to be your Big 12 title game.
They didn't look all that good the other night against UCF.
No. Number 9, Clemson.
They've been playing well.
Yep.
They've been playing well, and I think they prefer to keep it under the radar.
Yep. Number 8, LSU. Again, they got the game against Texas A&M coming up. That's their big thing. Number 7, Tennessee. The big game at Alabama that they just won. Okay, cool. Miami is number 6.
Okay.
You got Florida State up on the docket. Not that big of a game as it would be now, but it's a rivalry game.
Right.
You never know. Texas is number 5. Pavia going into Diego Pavia used to play in that Heat going into Texas. Who the hell knows?
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, Ohio State is now going to be playing a Nebraska team that has nothing to play for, really.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Number 3 is Penn State going into Wisconsin, but they have the look ahead to Ohio State. So who knows? Number 2, Georgia. And number 1, Oregon.
So I think Penn State should be ranked over Georgia.
I think Penn State stays there because they did not play. That is the main reason why that they're staying put.
Mm-hmm.
I really think is because they did not, They did not play a game. They had a bye. And I think that's also the same reason why Ohio State didn't move. But
yeah,
in my opinion, should Ohio State even be in the top 5? Because a lot of people will sit here and tell me that Ohio State's the best in the nation. They have the best weapons.
No, they're not.
They have the best weapons in the nation, but they are not the best team in the nation. And I wouldn't even put Oregon. I really think, even with the loss, Texas is the best team in the nation.
Yeah, top to bottom, I think they're the most complete team. You know, their offensive line, when they're on, is really good. They get good quarterback play. They run the ball. They can beat you with a consistent attack in the passing game. And defensively, they make you think you have a chance. Oh, that's cute. That's adorable. And then they impose their will on you.
Like, the reason Georgia really did beat them is because, I mean, let's face it, they got the shit beat out of them at Red River. It's also Red River.
Mm-hmm.
Red River is one of those games where, I hate the cliche, throw the record book out the window.
Yeah. And as far as Ohio State, Ryan Day is a little overrated to me. because
Well, remember 2 years ago or last year, Ryan Day was at talks of getting fired if he didn't beat Michigan. So if they don't beat Michigan now with Harbaugh gone, Chip Kelly could be the new head coach of Ohio State next year.
wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. So that was the top 25. Anything else you want to add, Ronnie?
Not really. I'm
Okay.
looking at rankings. There's nothing really. Just looking forward to this weekend, where when we start talking about it, the Friday night game is you got one of the biggest games in the Mountain West coming Friday night, and that's UNLV versus Boise State.
Um, yeah, that's actually a very interesting one. I can't say, ain't nobody care like I normally do.
No,
Uh,
that the winner of that is on the fast track to getting is on the fast track to going to Vegas
mm-hmm.
for the Mountain West title game.
Okay.
Granted, if they keep going the way they're going, they're probably going to just meet up again. But, I mean, home field advantage. I mean, it's also, if it's in Vegas, I mean, it's home field advantage anyway, so who the hell cares for UNLV?
Exactly.
Because, I mean, the next team overall has three losses, but there's 4 teams that are undefeated in Mountain West play.
Right. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun. I refer to the month of November for college football as Statement November. And I know we're probably gonna get the first set of college football playoff rankings very soon.
I believe it's the week after Halloween. So I believe it's next Tuesday. It would be the 29th, I believe.
Okay.
If I believe that's what it is.
Yeah, and we'll be here to discuss it as always. But right now, we're gonna go to the phone lines. We're gonna go pay some bills, play a little music. This is Monday Evening Quarterback on Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, the Nerd Report Network, and I think I covered all my bases. Did I?
Yeah,
Spotify,
pretty
YouTube,
much.
Twitch,
Yep.
Blog Talk Radio, and the Nerd Report Network. Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
All right, this is Monday Evening Quarterback. We'll see you guys back here, and when we get back, we're going to talk a little National Football League.
And we're good. On that,
all right, cool.
You want to go use the bathroom real quick, and then we'll get
started,
I'll take a
little break. Yeah, I'll take a little break real
I was
quick.
going to say, this is only going to take us about 20 minutes, because there's the only thing we can really talk about is Deshaun with an Achilles.
Yeah.
Tearing his Achilles.
Oh, it is official? It is an Achilles?
Yeah. Going down with an Achilles injury, so.
All right, man. All right, I'll be right back.
Yep.
Yo.
That sucks. Tear his fucking Achilles. That sucks. Hey, hon. You want to start cooking the food in like 15? Alright. Love you. Rusev kick ya. Rusev cup cats. It's in the fridge. The actual fridge. Do we have any fries? Did we have any fries? Do we have any French fries or anything like that? You want to just cook those too? Okay. Interesting. commercials.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, hold on. Let me just get stats up for the NFL because I got up college scores. All
Okay.
right.
All right. In three,
The Raiders
two.
suck.
What?
The Raiders suck.
Oh God, yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Ah, man. Phone calls. Love them. To me, they are what make Monday Evening Quarterback. They make Monday Evening Quarterback the show that this is. Man, I can't thank everybody that's been on. MEQ was a phone caller. I want to thank everyone who's going to be a future phone caller. And you're listening and you're probably wondering, oh, could that be me? Yeah, that could be you. Let me know. Reach out to me. If you have my personal info, text me or reach out to me on social media or email me. C.Simpson at thedailyblitz.blog. I am always looking for phone callers. I'll have a little bit of availability tomorrow. With that being said, we talked about college, the rankings, Georgia beating up on Texas, Oregon being the now number one ranked team in college football, and this is Monday Evening Quarterback resuming once again. If you are liking what you are hearing, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. We are on Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, Blog Talk Radio, and the Nerdport Network. And right there, I know I covered all four because I just wrote it down. All right, NFL. Let's get the unfortunate out the way. Deshaun Watson appeared to tear his Achilles.
Non-contact Achilles in non-contact leg injury that they just came out and reported that it is an Achilles tear.
Now, when I saw that, and I saw the card come out for him, and I saw how visibly emotional he was. Look, I know he hasn't been the most law-abiding citizen with his off-the-field antics and everything, and I know he hasn't played well this year. But you literally had people on social media cheering for him that he got hurt. And I don't care how much you may dislike a team, you don't want to cheer when someone gets injured. I'm just being honest. Right there. I guess I'll take the high road and I'll say, look, if he did what he did, that is between him and the people he did that with, and two. Because I'm not in a position to judge.
Between him and the good Lord, and he'll find his savior when it comes down to it.
Exactly.
Not to get religious, but
yeah, exactly.
It's just that you knew that phrase when I thought you were gonna go there. I'm like, no, that's the perfect saying for this.
Yeah, it really is. But I'm gonna wish him a speedy recovery because you just don't want to see anybody get hurt.
Well,
you really don't.
The good news, the silver lining beyond all this is he could get the Rodgers treatment and be actually better than he would expect, because look at Rodgers. Rodgers had that Achilles issue, and it literally took him 12 months to come back, which for an Achilles is unheard of.
Yeah, because you remember Aaron was trying to come back.
Yeah, Aaron was wanted to come back by playoff time.
Yeah, but they didn't make it. You gotta make it in order to come back.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, but you know I'm not wrong.
Just because you're right doesn't mean you're correct.
I said what I said. Cleveland did lose that game 21-14. The Bengals almost let the Browns come back into this game, which is why I picked the Browns to upset Cincinnati yesterday. And
is this for Cleveland? And I hate seeing anyone get injured, but is this a blessing in disguise for Cleveland?
well, Deshaun wasn't playing well prior to
And that's exactly what I'm getting at, because the team seemed to be completely be around Winston. So now that Winston is your number one, is Winston going to be the guy? Yes, he's your number one now. Does this form a turnaround for the Browns to come back and maybe not win the division, but to make the playoffs?
Right. I don't know. It just seemed like guys didn't want to rally and play for Deshaun Watson. You kind of just saw it in the body language for the Cleveland Browns.
Let me. They have not put that up. I'll have the adjustment. I'll have the updated stuff for Wednesday, and we'll talk about that on Wednesday to see what to make the playoffs would be and the regular season wins now that Deshaun's out for the year.
Exactly.
Because I think you're gonna see positive money on them to make the playoffs because they're so far behind. But I think their regular season wins might go down, and that's a bet that I would give. Like if their regular season hits 7, I would without a doubt take a flyer on them to win 8 games. To try to go 500 with Watson.
Who, Cleveland?
Yeah.
I mean, they're 1-6 right now.
But yeah, well, you also know you're getting the best fucking odds for it.
That's a good point.
But here's the thing: so I'm gonna list the games they have right now. They have Baltimore.
Loss.
Listen, new quarterback. They might rally behind. That game's gonna
loss.
Hold on. That game's gonna be tighter than we think. So fine, we'll say loss. Chargers?
Loss.
No, they'll beat the Chargers, I think. At home? At home?
Yeah, but remember, this is a Jim Harbaugh team now. And as long as you can run the football and your offensive line is playing well, physicality travels. It doesn't matter where a team plays or what elements they play in.
Saints?
That's one they could win.
Yep. Pittsburgh?
Loss.
At home on Sunday night. That could be a lot tighter than we think.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's going to get flexed.
So it's an 8-15 game right now, so I don't think that's going to get flexed. Not yet. But I'll have them winning the home game. At Denver, which is an 8-15 game. That could be a win. They have back-to-back. They have a Sunday night game and a Monday night game.
Interesting.
Then at Pittsburgh, that's a loss.
That's a loss.
At Cincinnati, they could beat Cincinnati. They could definitely do that. They could split that. Home against Miami, who knows if Tua's back. And at Baltimore might not need that game.
Yeah, that one against Pittsburgh is definitely a loss.
I think they split Pitt. And I can see them
they could split Baltimore.
Yeah. Especially with the last game being in what's it called? The last game could be Baltimore might not need it.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. To me, Cleveland's a lot better than their record has shown.
Yeah.
They play hard. They just can't finish games out.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But I mean, with Deshaun tearing his Achilles, it's a blow for Cleveland, but it could be a blessing in disguise because he has not been playing good, and they had no way of benching him because of how much money they were paying him.
Right.
So could this be a blessing in disguise? I mean, they were never going to trade him. They were never like, and obviously they took insurance out on him, so it's yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know.
So, all
mhm.
right. So there is other news when it comes to this coming out a couple days ago that starting today, Reddick ends his holdout and will be on the field for practice.
I know you're happy about that.
It stops. It helps with the run game.
I thought he was going to get traded. Like, I thought a team like the Detroit Lions, who we're going to talk about very shortly, I thought the Lions were going to go after him.
Well,
because
it helps the center. It helps Williams. It helps Quincy Williams with that rush defense.
Right.
So I mean, that's nothing but positivity. That's a great thing. So maybe we can see the Jets actually, get off their ass
and do something.
I mean, because they have, like I said, we talked about this on Wednesday. This team can be a 10-win team.
Yeah, 9 to 10 wins at the most. But again, like I said, them getting Davante Adams doesn't really fix the brunt of their problems.
No, but them getting Reddick back on there, actually, as much as I hate the fact that he was a cancer with this, it helps them a lot.
Yeah. I guess that was a good segue because
can I ask you one question real quick and then we'll get over? So
let me hear it.
With the Jets firing Saleh,
mm-hmm.
when you go and look for a new head coach, if you're the Jets, personally, I would not be looking for a coach that would coach Rodgers. Rodgers is going to do his own thing.
Right.
If you are the owner of the Jets and Woody Johnson, which, by the way, he might not even be there by the start of next year.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens in November. And if you know, you know. Do you get a coach to more or less for Jordan Travis than Aaron Rodgers?
Well, the one thing I always say is there's always a wave of coaches. You get what I mean by that?
Right.
Like, there's always a certain and a particular type of coach that's in. I remember the mid 2000s during the Brady and the Peyton Manning era when it was defensive minded guys. You know, Eric Mangini. I know you remember him.
Oh, freaking man genius. Yep.
Yeah, Eric Mangini. Romeo Crennel. Mike Tomlin. He's a defensive minded guy. Tony Dungy. Belichick was a defensive minded guy. Who else? I'm trying to think. Jack Del Rio was defensive minded. Then I say within the last decade or so, it's been a lot of offensive minded guys. And Ron Rivera was a defensive minded guy. Then it's been a lot of offensive minded guys, you know, like Kyle Shanahan, Nick Sirianni is one. You know, Andy Reid is an offensive minded guy. And I know he's an older coach, but he just continues to adapt with the current landscape of the NFL. Sean McVay. You look at him and how young he's been. Matt LaFleur, he's young. So now I think young, innovative coaches are the wave at this point. And the reason why I say that is because look at Gerard Mayo. He's 37. So, you know, he's a young guy. And my thing is, what in God's green earth does a 70-something-year-old man have with a 20-something-year-old in common? Absolutely nothing.
No.
But you go and you bring in a young coach who has either been in the locker room, has either played or played for the team that he's coaching, like a D'Amico Ryans, like a Gerard Mayo, you know, Dan Campbell. They know the ins and outs of what it takes to be a player. And, you know, they know it's not going to always be smooth sailing and whatnot. But they need someone young and they need. I'm not saying go for the, the biggest name on on the docket. Why not go get a guy? I don't know. Like I can't even think of.
I'll give you two guys that if they get fired from college, that probably would fit well with the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Both are offensive guys, but they know defense. One is Hugh Freeze from Auburn.
Okay.
And the other one is a very interesting pick because he would fit well with the backup quarterback for the New York Jets right now, and that is Mike Norvell.
I think they're gonna stick with the NFL because
I think you have to. I think if you're going to hire a coach, you need to make sure the coach is ready to take over for the backup. Not for Aaron Rodgers, because God forbid Aaron Rodgers is not going to listen to a new head coach. Not going to listen to a new system. It's going to be his fucking shtick. We all know this. And Rodgers is going to play for 2 more years. Jordan Travis, when he takes over, needs the head coach to be ready. And if that's Bill Belichick, great. Doubt it, but great. If that's a guy like Nick Saban wants another crack at it, great. Not going to happen, but great.
I think Nick is done. I think Nick is done.
I said as a joke, I go, watch, you get Bill Belichick and his OC is going to be, his offensive coordinator is going to be Nick Saban. I go, oh, Lord.
Oh, God.
Could that be no. That would be terrifying. It's like, yeah, let's get the best defensive head coach with the best offensive head coach together. It's like, fuck you.
Or why not a guy like Aaron Glenn? Aaron Glenn deserves a shot. Former Jet. Or, I know he's going to be highly sought out this year. Ben Johnson. That's the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah. It shows that Bellamy wasn't the right fucking answer. I'll tell you that right now. Granted, yes, got to see him coach at UCLA, but...
Who, Eric B?
Yeah.
No, he's being blackmailed. He's being blackballed.
I don't know. I think there was a lot of issues with him when it came to being a head coach. But I would, if you're telling me he's blackballed, I would actually lean more towards, what's his name from Pittsburgh being blackballed than him.
Who? Narduzzi?
No. The one that's fucking suing the NFL.
Brian Flores?
Yes.
Yeah, Yeah.
By the way, that lawsuit's still going on.
I know it is.
No one's talking about it. That's hilarious.
No, but I know he's getting the last laugh because part of the reason why he's out of Miami is because he kept saying, "No, I don't want to re-sign to a long-term money and a long-term extension." And look at what happened.
Yeah.
But looking at one of the games from week 7, we had a couple of nail biters with NFC North teams. Texans and Packers. What a game this was. I thought this was the most evenly matched match game of the entire docket. The Packers did win this game by a score of 24-22. Looking at numbers, CJ Stroud, not a good day at the office. 10-21, 86 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and he was sacked 4 times. Joe Mixon, 25 carries, 115 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I'll say this. I know Nico Collins isn't playing, but you are starting to see how much they miss him. However, Joe Mixon, I think, makes this offense much better. And I know the Cincinnati Bengals are kicking themselves for letting him go. Jordan Love, on the other hand, 24 of 33. 220 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was sacked 6 times, and Romeo Doubs was the leading receiver. 8 receptions, 94 yards, no touchdowns. And Dalton Schultz, 1 reception, 28 yards. Disappointing offensive day. So if the Texans were to win this game, it would have been because of their defense. But Green Bay was able to hold on and survive. And let me say, those all white uniforms that the Packers were wearing were absolutely fire.
I have to disagree. They look like the frickin' New York Jets.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
They did not.
That look like the old Jet uniforms.
Something always looks like something to you.
They looked. No, I'm sorry. When you're going all whites, the only all white uniforms that are fire are the Bengals.
The current ones that they wear?
The one they stole from Memphis.
Oh, yeah. With the white helmet?
Yes. No, the one they stole from Memphis.
God, I really don't like you at times.
You know I'm right. That's the sad thing.
Are.
You know
That's why I'm saying I really don't like you at times.
Because it's true. They just stole it from Memphis. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, this was a good game. I mean, both teams leave this game with 5-2 records. Green Bay seems to really be getting into a rhythm. As you know, I had the Packers coming out the NFC. I think Green Bay is that good, where they can go on a run. These receivers all happen to be on core because the previous quarterback before Jordan Love didn't want to teach these young receivers anything. Dobbs, Christian Watson, and whatnot.
Now he's just carrying that over to the Jets.
Yeah, exactly. Houston needs Nico Collins back, and soon. Because he makes an immense difference. I mean, Nico was having a breakout year before he got hurt. The Packers survive. 24-22. Anything you want to say about this game, Ronnie?
I wasn't really paying attention as much to this as I was. So I was actually more watching the Giant game, and I was watching the Minnesota game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
get the ugly out the way. The Eagles and the Giants. Saquon Barkley came back to MetLife.
I have an issue with what Dable said in his post presser.
All right, let's talk about that. Bring that up.
So Dable came out and said that Danny Dimes is their number one quarterback despite the blowout against Philly.
Okay.
The final was 28-3.
Oh, so it was the Matt Ryan special.
Right. And we had a stat. I came out with the stat on Wednesday that the average points that are scored when their left tackle is out, he's out for the year with a freaking Liz Frank injury, is 19 points.
Mm-hmm.
With him, it's 21.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't think having Andrew Thomas you're talking about, right?
Yes.
I don't think he'd make all the difference, Ronnie.
No,
let me explain.
But I do not consider 28-3, though. Listen, we watch college football. We've seen blowouts.
Right.
28-3 in the NFL is not a blowout.
No, it's not, because teams can come back from 28-3.
So why is Dable coming out and say, yes, did Danny Jones get benched? Yeah, but Jones also had a shit game. They didn't get the shit beat out of him. He had a terrible game, though.
Right.
Because he has nobody blocking for him.
The problem I have with the Giants is they're so dominant defensively. Like, they're getting after the quarterback damn near every game. It's the offense, and we saw those miscues last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. They had so many chances to try and put a touchdown on the board, and they couldn't do it. But the defense would continuously get the ball back for them. You know, this was a game Saquon Barkley wanted.
So
he wanted to remain a Giant.
Yeah.
And, he had a game all right.
So
17 carries.
Yep.
$176 and one touchdown. And A.J. Brown is back. The same impact Nico Collins has on the Houston Texans is the same type of impact A.J. Brown has on this Eagles passing attack.
So, Jones. This is where this bothers me with what Dable's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Jones 14 for 21 with 99 passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not the greatest game in the world. You want to know where the biggest stat that just shows me here?
Mm-hmm.
7 sacks for 56 yards. How is that Jones's fault? Listen, he may not be the quarterback that they want or they need, but how is that Jones's fault?
Right. You play as well as those 5 guys up front.
Exactly. And you have nobody that is on his right end. You're leaving the freaking floodgates open for that offensive line to just turnstile.
Exactly.
But and what didn't help too is Singletary had your best running back 5 carries, 18 yards.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to cut it either.
They had a total of 18 carries for 76 yards.
Yeah, that's not going to cut it. But I think this was a game that the Eagles needed to get right.
Yeah.
Because they haven't necessarily looked the greatest this year. I want to get something else that's ugly out the way. The New Orleans Saints, they're spiraling.
Yeah.
And not in a good way either. No. Remember, everybody was high on the Saints. Oh, they put up 47 on Carolina. And look, I could get probably 10 people from the little neighborhood I live in out here in Jersey together, and we could probably hang up at least 20 on Carolina because that's how bad they are. Then they go into Dallas and punch the Cowboys in the mouth. But ever since then, they haven't been able to win a game. And I think Philly broke them. Denver beat them on Thursday night. It was Sean Payton returning to the Superdome. And it was also Drew Brees night. Drew Brees was being inducted into the Saints Hall of Fame. And we know the next Hall of Fame is going to be the one in Canton, Ohio. The Saints didn't even try. 33-10. I think they need to part ways with Dennis Allen because it's not working. Derek Carr isn't the long-term solution. Neither.
I was gonna say, is that a fault on Dennis Allen, or is that a fault on the fact that they don't have their quarterback?
Maybe a mix of both.
Because Spencer Rattler, I mean, he's a rookie quarterback. I mean, even when he was in South Carolina, he had flashes of success.
Yeah, same at Oklahoma.
Yeah, but you haven't built that team. That team has not been built from the ground up. I mean, they're finally starting to get their offensive line, their defense. I mean, listen. You have 2 rookies on their you have actually 5 rookies starting for this team that came out of this draft. You have the offensive line and Fugea, Kool-Aid. Your corner is the starting quarterback. Rattler is your now quarterback, and Bud Means is your wide receiver.
Yeah,
it's a build from the ground up. I think you got to give this one more draft before you can really start to say this is a failure on Allen's part, because it's not a failure on what's his name's part, on Carr. And also Rattler's hurt now too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's now deemed questionable going into this week. So you might have Jake Haener as your starting quarterback.
Jesus.
Also, they're without Chris Olave.
You know what I would do if I were the Saints? I'd listen to see what I could get for Alvin Kamara and just start this from the bottom up.
Seriously. What's his contract look like?
I don't know, because I know he signed a contract extension in 2020.
I'll find it out.
Yeah. And I don't think he's relatively old. He's probably in his late 20s. But yeah, the Broncos beat up on the Saints by 33 to 10. Now, some more thrilling games. I don't want to say it was thrilling, but it was close throughout. The Dolphins and the Colts. This was a game that the Dolphins should have won, and they just let it slip from their hands. The Colts win this game, 16-10. Anthony Richardson came back. He didn't look bad, but he didn't also look good either.
So to answer your question, he's got an opt out. He opt outed this year to get in a contract, so he's good till 27.
Yeah, I'd still listen.
Sorry. They deferred money to 27. He's an unrestricted free agent in 26.
So looking at these stats for the Dolphins and the Colts, Anthony Richardson, 10 of 24, 129 yards passing, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and he wasn't sacked at all.
No.
Guess who your leading rusher was for the Indianapolis Colts?
Oh, God, for the Colts would be... I have no idea, actually.
It was Anthony Richardson.
Of course.
14 carries and 56 yards.
And
Miami.
And what's his name is now out too. He's possibly Hunley got not carted off, but he hurt his shoulder.
And Tim Boyle came in. How he still has a job is beyond me.
If I'm Denver, do you start picking up phone calls and asking anybody about what's his name? Oh, God damn it! What the your third string quarterback, former Jet.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah, do you start asking people around for Zach Wilson? Because God forbid, people are going to need him.
I'll say this: Zach Wilson to me could be like a Sam Darnold. You get what I mean by that?
Or like a Geno Smith.
Right. They just need the right system and the right coaching around them. Miami did a pretty good job of running the ball. Devin Achane ran the ball 15 times for 77 yards. And as a team, Miami ran the ball for 188 yards. But just couldn't get out their way.
Yeah.
Now, one of the other thrilling games that I saw, I was actually able to preview this, was the Lions and the Vikings. The NFC North has been the best division in the National Football League. Each team in the division is above 500. It hasn't been like that in a while in this division. I was looking forward to this one coming in. I knew the Lions were going to be without Aiden Hutchinson, and I'm really pulling for him to come back and play very soon. But a speedy recovery.
So the good news about that is it was a clean break.
Yeah, but you know what? If I'm a coach or if I'm the front office, I wouldn't even want him to play.
No, but you know what the funny thing is you have a coach who used to be a player. So if anyone's going to know anything about how to come back from clean breaks, it would be him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the fact that, okay, is it fair that he doesn't know that it doesn't suck that he's hurt? Is it a clean break? Yeah, that's the best news out of everything. It is a clean break.
Yeah, because that injury looked hideous. And isn't it crazy? When you see those gruesome leg injuries, they look a lot worse than what they're eventually...
Well, I mean, look at last year. Look at freaking, what's his name? Hunt.
Who?
Was it Hunt? Or it wasn't Kamara. It was Cleveland.
Oh, Nick Chubb?
Chubb, thank you.
Yeah, and he came back yesterday.
That was the ugliest, because his knee went straight in and just exploded. Like, that looked like a...
That kind of reminded me of Adrian Peterson in 2011.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. The three nastiest leg injuries you could ever see is Theismann, Alex Smith, and Colt McCoy.
Yeah, for me, it was Alex Smith. You know, I'm gonna even switch sports here. Kevin Ware for Louisville.
Okay.
March Madness, Elite Eight. They were
God,
playing
shut up! I
Blue
don't
Devil.
No. I know what break you're talking about, and I can see the bench still.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can see the bench still to this day. Almost puke.
Yeah, that was something.
Ugh.
I mean, the Dak Prescott injury in 2020 was also pretty gruesome to
Yeah.
see, but it's good to see him back on the field. But now, looking at this Lions Vikings game, Minnesota came in 5-0. The Lions are coming off an absolute beatdown of the Dallas Cowboys on Jerry Jones' 82nd birthday, and it couldn't have happened to a more deserving individual. I didn't know what to expect from this one. The Vikings came out firing on all cylinders, but the Lions show that they're still a contender in this league. They're 5-1. Me personally, Ronnie, I think the Lions are the most complete team in the NFL. And the reason why I say that is because they have the best offensive line in football. They're balanced on the offensive side. That's their identity, balance, but they want to run the football. They have the best duo of running backs in the league in Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. They have some pretty good weapons from a receiving standpoint. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, who I think is one of the best tight ends in the league. And defensively, even without Aiden Hutchinson, I still think this is a very good defense. This is a team I wouldn't want to play down the stretch. Especially this year, because they have a full year of experience under their belt.
Well, and they have revenge.
Yeah. The Lions were able to survive Minnesota yesterday in Minneapolis by a score of 31-29. Listen to these numbers on the Detroit side. Jared Goff, 22 of 25. 280 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, 15 carries, 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. And, of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You better have a touchdown. You one of the highest paid wide receivers in the league. 8 receptions and 112 yards. Whereas Sam Darnold didn't look that bad either. 22 of 27. 259 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Both quarterbacks were sacked 4 times each. And Justin Jefferson caught a touchdown as well. And when he hits the gritty, that means he scored.
Yeah, pretty much.
Detroit was better when they needed to be.
Yeah. Oh, hands down, yes.
That's how I look at this one. Other than that, some other scores. Let's see.
Buffalo took care of Tennessee, covered in Orchard Park. Shocking.
Yeah, and Amari Cooper caught a touchdown.
Yep.
I think he's gonna fit in there perfectly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The Seahawks beat the Falcons 34-14.
Patriots beat the Patriots lost to the Jags in London.
32-16.
Gerard Mayo, right?
Yeah.
Came out and said his team is soft.
Is he wrong?
No, but is that something the coach really wants to be saying during his press conference?
I think he's saying that to motivate them. Because Mike Tomlin, I'm kind of with him.
I hope he's saying that to motivate them because
they are soft. He's right. He's absolutely right. But like I keep saying, if I'm the Patriots, knowing now that you have a quarterback, go get him a weapon.
So interesting on that. Marcus Mariota is having a game right now. Or this week.
Yeah. That's all pretty much everything I have for the NFL.
We can get into the game
tonight. There's 2 of them.
2 of them. I mean, let's face it. In reality, it's 1.
Ravens, Buccaneers. What you thinking about this one?
Ravens all day.
We could talk about Baltimore being 5-1. Granted, what happened in Kansas City, literally lost by a game of inches, and then blowing that 10-point lead to the Raiders. Ever since then, the Baltimore Ravens have been clicking. They've been running the football, establishing Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, to me, is an MVP candidate. Tampa, on the other hand, did you see how they ran the ball against the Saints last week?
Yeah, but again, against the Saints defense.
This is true. They ain't doing that against Baltimore tonight.
No.
But there is an area where Baltimore can be had. Baltimore is pretty bad when it comes to defending the pass. They're ranked 31st.
Yeah.
And Tampa just so happens to have one of the best wide receiver tandems in the league. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. I think this game will be close. I do like Baltimore in this one, but Tampa will keep it interesting.
I agree.
And then the Chargers and the Cardinals.
Listen, the only good thing is it looks like Harrison's going to be back in this game.
I still like the Chargers, though.
So do I. But that's the only positive. He's coming out of concussion protocol. That's it.
Yeah, that's good. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
You never want to see anybody go through anything like that. But, Ronnie, you got anything else you want to add?
Negative.
All right, you ready to bring this thing home?
Bring it home.
Let's bring this home. Well, guys, we thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this show just as much as we have fun recording it. How can you keep up with me? First, log on to the site, which is the dailyblitz.blog. Enter your email address and become a subscriber today. You can follow us on Twitter at dailyblitz_61. And you can follow us on Instagram at the dailyblitz_61. You can also follow me personally, which is the football analyst _61. How can you keep up with me through the airwaves? Sure. This is what I'm here for. Every Monday and Tuesday night, you can catch me on a Prime with David on Point, TJ Hopkins, Israel Rivera, and Matt James on Prime Sports World. Wednesdays, you can catch me on The Betting Window with Ronnie here, John Danzo, and Ryan Shaw, and some of his friends, to say the least. Ronnie, you get where I'm going with that. Thursday mornings, you can catch me on Snowman in the Morning with Brian Snow for the Snowman Multimedia Group. That is at 8:35 every Thursday. So you can check that out. Fridays, you can catch me on College Football Showdown on Prime Sports World with Israel Rivera and Matt James. As always, I end the show with shout out. So huge shout out to my family, of course, my amazing mother and my little sister Taylor. Thank you guys for all you do, all I know you're going to do, and all you've done for all these years. I know this is a grind, but you guys still continue to support my dad, who has always been there and who has always supported. So thank you so much for everything you do. My son, better known as my dog, Siebes, he wasn't here, but I guess he didn't want to be around me anymore. My other siblings, Sean, Janice, Tanisha, Daphne, Brandon, Keith. Thank you guys so much for everything you do as well. Some other people I'm close with, Jason Tyree, my fellow Yankee fan, Robert Butler, Candace Carter, Kimmel Fryer, Mike Griffin, Rob Carter, Alex Bennett, Rob's cousin Alex, Corey Harris, Sean Elliott, and Coach, better known as Cole Johnson, and our moderator D, for always keeping us on our feet as analysts. And to everyone I've worked with in the industry, past and present, thank you guys so much for all you do. This has been another episode of Monday Evening Quarterback. Enjoy Monday Night Football. It's a double dip of some sorts. Ravens, Buccaneers. Chargers, Cardinals. I'm on my way to go do the Prime for Prime Sports World. I will see you guys back here next week. Have an amazing week and go Yankees.